No one was looking for oil. That's the detail history loves to forget. Imagine a quiet forest in Pennsylvania in the mid-19th century. No skyscrapers, no engines, no roaring machines, just trees, mud, and men digging for salt, because salt meant survival. Salt preserved food. Salt kept armies marching. Salt was wealth. And then it happened. From deep underground, something black, sticky, and foul-smelling began to rise. It ruined tools. It soaked clothes. It destroyed weeks of labor in minutes. The workers recoiled in disgust. This wasn't treasure. This was a curse. They called it rock oil. It clogged their wells and poisoned their rivers. In some places, they burned it just to get rid of it. In others, they dumped it into streams, watching thick black slicks spread across the water while fishermen cursed and animals fled. No one imagined this filthy sludge would soon be worth more than gold. But history doesn't change when people are comfortable. It changes when someone looks at a problem and asks, "What if everyone else is wrong?" That someone was Samuel Keir. Keir didn't see waste. He saw potential. In 1851, he refined petroleum into kerosene. Suddenly, darkness retreated. Homes glowed with steady light that was cheaper and brighter than whale oil. For the first time, night itself became negotiable. But illumination was only the beginning. The real shift came when a lawyer named George Bissell asked a dangerous question. What if oil wasn't just collected, but extracted? Bissell wasn't a scientist. He wasn't an engineer. He was something far more powerful, an observer with business instincts sharp enough to cut stone. He suspected oil wasn't a nuisance. It was liquid wealth trapped underground. He founded a company, commissioned chemical analysis, and received a report that sent shockwaves through investors. The message was clear. Petroleum could be refined into multiple valuable products cheaply and efficiently. Money began circling the idea. But there was one problem that no one could solve. Oil was hard to get. Buckets, blankets, pits in the ground, all primitive, all inefficient. Then Bissell proposed something radical, almost absurd. What if we drill for oil the same way we drill for water? People laughed. Investors pulled out. The company collapsed. The idea was declared madness. But ideas don't die just because people stop believing in them. They wait. And soon, that idea found the perfect vessel in a man who had nothing left to lose. Edwin Drake was a former railroad conductor. Sick, recently unemployed, practically invisible to society. But he had two advantages: practical skill and stubborn belief. When the Seneca Oil Company hired him to investigate land near a creek ominously called Oil Creek, they didn't expect a revolution. They expected confirmation that nothing valuable existed. Drake expected something else. Day after day, his drill bit chewed through rock at a painful pace, 3 feet per day. Walls collapsed. Equipment failed. Locals gathered to mock him. They called his effort Drake's folly. They placed bets on when he would quit, but Drake kept going. When investor money ran out and only a few feet remained, he made a decision that defined his life. He borrowed money personally. If he failed, he would lose everything. And then, on August 27, 1859, at just 69 feet deep, the ground answered. Oil rose to the surface, not in a dramatic explosion, not in fire, just a quiet, unstoppable presence that changed the world. The first commercial oil produced only 25 barrels per day, but it was enough. Enough to ignite greed, ambition, violence, and progress all at once. The oil rush had begun. Fortunes made overnight. Lives lost. Just as fast news traveled faster than logic. Within weeks, thousands flooded into the forests of Pennsylvania. Prospectors, gamblers, dreamers, criminals, drilling rigs multiplied like weeds. Towns appeared overnight. Fortunes were made in days. And Edwin Drake? He watched. He had forgotten to patent his drilling method. The company fired him. For triggering the greatest energy revolution in history, he received $1,260. After debts, nothing remained. While others built empires on his idea, Drake wrote desperate letters, begging friends for help. He was sick, broke, forgotten. Only years later did the state grant him a modest pension, long after the damage was done. But the oil rush didn't care about fairness. Jonathan Watson, the landowner where Drake drilled, became a millionaire almost instantly. Henry Rouse, a humble school teacher, struck oil so powerful it spewed 3,000 barrels a day. In less than 2 years, he was fabulously wealthy. Then his well exploded. Rouse died in a fire so violent it erased him from history almost as fast as it enriched him. Others learned different lessons. John D. Rockefeller realized that drilling was chaos. Refining was control. He focused on efficiency, scale, and ruthless precision. His mission was simple: sell oil cheaply, dominate the market, eliminate competitors. Over decades, he built a monopoly and became the richest man the world had ever known, his wealth equivalent to hundreds of billions today. Women claimed their place too. Emma Summers, a California music teacher, invested $700 in oil. While men argued over land, she bought horses and tankers, transporting oil herself. She understood logistics before others understood opportunity. Soon she was known as the Oil Queen of California. But wealth created instability. Boom towns rose like mirages. Pithole, Pennsylvania exploded into existence. Hotels, theaters, newspapers, chandeliers imported from New York. Money flowed without restraint. Then the oil ran out. Within months, Pithole died. 500 days. That's all it took for a town to be born, peak, and vanish. The American dream had learned how to evaporate. Blood, deception, and the dark side of wealth. Where money rushes in, crime follows. Oil regions became lawless. Rigs were burned. Equipment stolen. Wells sabotaged. Scammers sold the same land to multiple buyers. Some even poured oil into empty wells to fake success, a trick known as salting. One man perfected deception. Dr. Frederick Cook never drilled a single well. Instead, he created dozens of fake oil companies and hired stenographers to flood the country with promotional letters. Investors poured money into nothing. In 3 years, he made millions. But the darkest chapter unfolded on Osage tribal land. When oil was discovered there, the Osage became the wealthiest people per capita in the world. Mansions, cars, servants, and then death. The U.S. government assigned white guardians to manage their finances. Those guardians organized systematic murder, poisonings, bombings, executions disguised as accidents. Entire families vanished. The reign of terror lasted years. It ended only when federal investigators exposed the truth. Oil had turned prosperity into a death sentence. Progress, destruction, and the price of black gold. The land paid, too. Forests vanished. Rivers turned black. Wildlife fled. In California, a single well gushed uncontrollably for over a year, turning entire regions into dead zones. Oil rigs rose beside homes. Beaches became industrial wastelands. And yet, without oil, there would be no modern world, no automobiles, no plastics, no aviation, no modern medicine. Entire industries rose from petroleum waste. Fortunes were built from what others threw away. That is the paradox of oil. It lifted humanity forward while dragging countless lives under. And it taught a brutal lesson. Discoveries don't make people rich. Systems do. Control does. Timing does. Edwin Drake changed the world and died poor. Others learned how to turn discovery into dominance. Today, as the world stands at the edge of a new energy revolution, the story of black gold whispers a warning. Every leap forward has a cost.